Chef. Today, Beef Wellington, as promised. So we're going to get in. This is a perfect dish, as I've said in another video, for if you're trying to impress a new guy, a new gal. It takes a little bit of preparation, but if you do it, I'm sure it's going to be delicious. I'm making it pretty much direction ways. So I got us a nice whole beef tenderloin. I'm going to show it to you a little bit on how to cut it, and then we're going to jump in and start making it. So this is an entire beef tenderloin. Okay? And we're going to cut part of it up. I'm going to use it for steaks, and the main part I'm going to use for the Beef Wellington. Trimming it isn't that difficult, but we are going to pull off a lot of this, so it's just going to come right off. Tenderloin is obviously, it's one of the most tender pieces of beef, and we're just going to start trimming this up. We don't want to take off too much meat, because if we do, then we lose it. The best part of a beef tenderloin, in my opinion, is this tail section. This is the most tender. I usually cut this up, marinate it a little bit, and then I fry it. Alright, we've got it mostly trimmed up, and what we want to do is, where you can see this piece right here, we want this section. Now, I went all out and bought an entire tenderloin. You don't have to. If you don't, a lot of grocery stores will sell you, but what you're going to get is probably about from here to about here. And you'd have to cut this off, and you'd have to do some more trimming. I get a whole one. I spent the money, just did it because that's what I wanted. Very slowly for about 30. But now that we have this, we're going to start in on the rest. Just on a side note, this is the beef tenderloin we're going to be working with, or the beef fillet. And what I got out of that whole entire piece of beef tenderloin is a plate full of steaks. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steaks. They're probably about 7 ounces. This meat is just meat that you can throw in and do anything with. Alright, so what I've done so far is I've ground up some ground pepper and garlic salt and coated all the sides, even the ends. And then what I've got a pan heating with some oil, and we're just going to sear all around the tenderloin. That's the first step. Alright, I've got my pan with just a little bit of olive oil, and all we're going to do is just sear it. Just all the sides. I'm taking pointers from how to make sure to get all the ends that I'm going to show you. Because we don't want to cook it all the way, it's going to bake. You can see how it's just seared. Doesn't take that long. We don't have an English mustard, but I do have a mustard with horseradish, which helps with the flavor. So that's what we're going to be using and coating after we sear it. Have yourself a really good pair of tongs. One little side left, as you can see. Just a quick sear. And that is all we're going to do with it. Take it right off the heat, and we're done with the stove for a moment. Alright, right off the stove, which you want to do. We're just going to coat all the meat with this mustard. That's all we're going to do. All the sides just like how we seared it. Not too much. Get this end here. This end. Now we're going to be doing some interesting things. Is in between when we get things prepped, we're going to be putting this actually in the refrigerator. Just to chill for a little bit. It helps us when we have to roll it. The next is we're going to be getting ready. It actually has some mushrooms in it. I've got most of the mushrooms ready. We're going to kind of chop them up. And then we're going to fry them over heat just to get the moisture out. The other you will need is, I was trying to find an English ham. Over here in America, it's prosciutto. So I've got some prosciutto, which is uncured ham. Alright. That's all done. It's going to go in the fridge. We're going to get the mushrooms going. Alright, I've got a little food processor. Got some mushrooms we're going to put in. To get these, we're going to transfer it to a frying pan. And then I'll show you what we're going to do with them next. So you want the mushrooms to look just like that. Maybe a little bit more. That's probably pretty good. That one's probably not. But we might add in some more just to see how much more we can get. So I'm going to finish this up and then we'll meet over at the frying pan. Okay, so we're going to be cooking the mushrooms, just basically sauteing them. We do not add any water, any oil, nothing to this, because we want the moisture to actually come out of the mushrooms. So this is going to take a little bit to cook, but when it's all done, come back and I'll show you what the next step would be. Okay, we have the prosciutto lined up. Okay, the mushrooms are done. You don't want any water. Is you want to add, just spread it around. Okay, so that's nice and even. So it's nice and coated in. Put it right about there. And then I can do this. You just want to make it as snug and tight as possible. That's from what I'm seeing. And then just twist these. We want it as tight as possible. Now we're going to let that sit in the refrigerator for 15 minutes. It's been 15 minutes. Now we've got that all nice, tight. So we're going to take this puff pastry and bring it all the way over, just like that. And we're just going to, right there at the end, very carefully, trim off the excess. Now, we still have that saran wrap. We want this all closed off. And we will too when we wrap it. going to move it and just roll it up tight. And I want those done as well. We want it all nice and tight. For another 15 minutes in the refrigerator, and we're going to just do a little decoration on it. As you can see, 15 minutes are up. It's all nice packed tight. We're just going to take the back, a little bit of egg yolk, and just kind of make a fun design. Put it in a pan, and we're just going to take, I separated some eggs, and I've got some egg yolk. I'm just going to cover the top. Then we're going to take some coarse sea salt and just kind of sprinkle it on top. Then if all goes well, we'll see you back in 30 minutes. Alright, so the temperature I got was actually a little off. You want to cook it at 400 degrees for about 25-30 minutes. Mine took a little bit longer, but it is done. How I saw it cut was a little differently. Because it's a beef tenderloin, this bread knife will cut right through it. Okay, maybe not as good as I hoped cutting wise, but as you can see, it's nice, pink, perfect, ready to go. But we learned because this is the first time I made it. So I'm going to dig in. I made some fettuccine alfredo. I do have a visitor. My son came to see me because I think he was hungry. Alright, Beef Wellington is done with a nice little side of fettuccine alfredo. I'm going to go eat this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more, and ring the bell to get notifications when I upload another video. See you next time.